Dear students, welcome to the course of Essence of Indian Traditional Knowledge. Today's topic is on Vedangas. In our previous topic, we have completed the different types of Upavedas, which are subparts of Vedas. Each Upaveda is associated with one of our primary Vedas, that is Rig Veda, Samaveda, Ajurveda, and Atharva Veda. Today we will look into Vedangas, which are known as limbs or parts of Vedas. After completion of this topic, you will be able to classify various types of Vedangas and you will be able to illustrate the brief details of different Vedangas. Going into the details, Vedangas means the limbs of the Vedas. They are 6 in number. Just like we have limbs of the body, they perform various supportive and augmenting functions in the study, preservation, and protection of the Vedas. Like how limbs of the body protect the human body system, in a similar way, Vedangas protects the Vedas and Vedic traditions. Smriti literature basically consists of these Vedangas, and in the previous topic, what we have considered, that is Upavedas, which form supplementary sections of Vedic literature. So, discussing about this Smriti literature, as we have mentioned previously also, the Vedic literature consists of Shruti and Smriti, where Shruti is known as revealed literature, whereas Smriti is known as memorized literature. So now what we are dealing with is Vedangas, and in the previous class what you have done with, that is Upavedas, comes under this Smriti literature, that is memorized literature. Coming to the classification of Vedangas, we have total 6 Vedangas. First one, Siksha, which deals with the in English, which deals with the phonetics, and it is associated with the limb nose. So it deals with Siksha, the Vedanga Siksha deals with phonetics connected with the correct pronunciation of the words of the Vedas. Second one, Nirukta, which deals with etymology. As I mentioned in the previous class also, Eniology is the study of, etymology is the study of words. It is given by the Vedanga Nirukta and it is associated with the limb ears. And it deals with the origin of the meaning of the word. Third one, Vyakarana, that is grammar. It is associated with the limb face, which deals with making meaningful sentences from the words. Fourth one, Chandas, that is deals with metrics. Limb is legs, and which describes the study of poetic meters and verses. Fifth one is Jyotisha, associated with astrology, and the limb associated is eyes, which describes the science of tracking and predicting the movements of astronomical bodies in order to keep time. The last one and sixth one is Kalpa, deals with rituals. A limb associated with it is hands, which describes the rituals to be performed. So, the basic classification of Vedangas. We will go into the details one after the other. Coming to Siksha, that deals with phonetics. Siksha lays down the rules of phonetics, that is pronunciation or sounds or duration of utterance of each syllable, that is known as euphony. Euphony refers to how much duration we need to utter each syllable. So such rules are laid down by Siksha, how to pronounce, how to sound, and how much duration to utter each syllable. The goal of this Vedanga, that is Siksha, is to achieve correct pronunciation and articulation through the fundamental things like Akshara Suddhi, that is a syllable purity, Swara Suddhi, that is tonal or pitch purity, Matra Suddhi, that is durational purity, Balam, that is force of articulation, Samam, that is evenness, Santana, that is continuity. These are all the fundamental things to be practiced in order to correctly pronounce and articulate each syllable in Vedas. Phonetics are the most critical in the case of Vedic language because a change in sound results in completely different effects, which is very important point to note. These are the few details about Siksha. Coming to the next Vedanga, that is Nirukta, deals with etymology, that is study of words. Nirukta generally is known as Vedic dictionary or Kosa in Sanskrit. Amarakosa, we call it as, is one of the popular Sanskrit dictionaries. Dictionary is also called as Nighandu in Sanskrit, and in Telugu we call it as Nighantu. That has been got a root word from Sanskrit, where in English we call it as dictionary. Kosa or dictionary is actually the etymology where each word is split into syllables and gives the root from which the word is derived with meaning. The root of a word is called dhatu in Sanskrit literature. Root of each word is called as dhatu. And in Sanskrit, all words have roots. That is, we have roots for all words, that is, dhatus will be present. Coming to the next Vedanga, that is Vyakarana, which deals with grammar. Vyakarana or grammar, which is necessary for the understanding of the Veda. So we are always relating all the Vedangas to Vedas only, which can be applicable to any literary text. Grammar we require to understand any literary text, not only Vedas. The old Vedanga texts on Vyakarana are entirely lost today. Panini is the first known grammarian of India who has graduated from Takshila and wrote Ashtadhyay with 8 chapters related to the Vedic grammar, that is Vyakarana. It is the first book on grammar as far as Vedic literature is considered. It discusses root, that is Prakriti, and suffix, that is Pratyaya, of a word to study its meaning. In each and every word, this Panini, who is a grammarian, has wrote a book on grammar which discusses about two things in a given word, that is root and suffix. Root in Sanskrit literature we call it as Prakriti, suffix we call it as Pratyaya. Panini's Vyakarana is in the form of sutras. They are considered the foundation of grammar. The next Vedanga is Chandas, that is metrics. Though the word Chandas also means Vedas themselves, the meaning here refers to the meter of Vedic poetry. That means how to read a poem has got its own meter. All the poems need not be read in a same meter. Rig and Samavedas are fully in the form of verses, whereas Yajurveda has prose and poetry, where this Chandas is required to read the poems. A sloka or a Veda mantra is generally a quartet with 4 quarters or pada. 4 quarters is called as pada. So 4 quarters is called as pada. Pada is also known as in general quartet. Depending upon the number of syllables in each of the padas or quartets, we have different meters. One is Anustup, consists of 8 syllables, Brihati, 9 syllables, Pankti, 10 syllables, Trishtup, 11 syllables, and Ushnik, totally 28 syllables. So any meter beyond 26 syllables for a given pada, it is called as Dandakam. The last Vedanga, that is Jyotisha, that is relating to astrology, deals with Vedic astrology or astronomy. It was mainly designed to help in arriving at the most favorable time for the performance of Vedic rituals. Not only this one, this may be considered as a belief, but scientifically it involves precise mathematical calculations concerning the transit of planets, and so mathematics is an integral part of it. Jyotish Shastra has three parts. Skanda Trayatmakam. The word Skanda means main branch of the trunk of a tree. They are Siddhanta Skandam, which deals with the trigonometry, arithmetic, algebra, geometry. Horus Skandam, which deals with movement of planets and their effect on people. Samhita Skandam, the location of underground waters, designing and building houses. Jyotisha Shastra covers principles of gravitation, rotation of Earth. Famous astronomers like Aryabhatta, Varahamihira, and others have given beautiful discussions on these. Then comes the last Vedanga, that is Kalpa, associated with rituals. Kalpa deals with the aspects inducing a person into Vedic action. It is like a manual which will give details like how a ritual should be done, what are the functions of brahmacharis, grihasthas, sannyasis, what rituals involves which mantra, devata and materials, how many priests should perform a given ritual, what vessel of what shape, size to be used. Kalpa has four subparts called Kalpa Sutras. One is a Griha Sutra, deals with the domestic rituals to be performed by an individual. Second one is Srauta Sutra, ritual manuals used by priests to perform grander Vedic sacrifices. Sulva Sutra, which deal with the complex fire altars of various shapes constructed with bricks of specific shapes and areas. Dharma Sutra, where the directions about our domestic, social, and religious lives. It has several manuals of human conduct. Based upon this topic, we have few lecture level practice questions which you can go through and practice them. That's all for this topic. Thank you. Happy learning.